Hello and welcome again to From the Bandroom with me, Andrew Fake. Today we're in Whitefield, halfway between Manchester and Bury, at the Bandroom of one of the country's oldest and most famous brass bands, Besses of the Barn. Established in 1818, the band moved into its present Bandroom in the 1880s and at the turn of the century undertook 2 world tours. In more recent times, the band has had both Andre Previn and Sir Simon Rattle as vice presidents. The list of former MDs reads like a who's who of the brass band world and includes Derek Broadbent, Paul Hindmarsh, Steve Sykes and Roy Newsom.
Whitefield is the Besses of the Barn's headquarters, the Bandroom. It could easily have been a barn, this like the one that gave him the name, but this is where you get that dreaded disease, Bessitis, for which there is no known cure.
Steve Hughes plays B-flat bass with Besses and I'm told is very much the historian and archivist. How did that come about, Steve?
Well, I gave up banding for 20 years, came back in 2007. Besses was a great name from when I finished banding in the 80s. Unfortunately, when I got here, I realised that they'd come down a long way. They were on one of the many bust periods that is synonymous with the history of Besses. Somebody gave me a book which charted the history of Besses from 1818 to 1892, and I read it. I fell in love with Besses, and as I think it was Roy Castle said when he did a programme with Besses back in the 70s or the 80s, I caught Bessiitis.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, it is something. It's something that gets you inside. Then you're a Besses man or a Besses lady, and it sticks with you forever, I think.
So you've tried to keep the history side of things going from the end of that book, I guess. You're researching.
Yeah, both
things
from the end
then.
of the book and also research coming up with stuff that was perhaps missed out from the book. What I don't want to do is, when I produce a follow-up to this Hampson book, as it was called, is concentrate on just when they won this or where they went and, dates and names. That's well documented. As I say, the boom and bust of Besses, they've been at the top and they've been down to 4 players. And there's 3 or 4 times throughout the 200 years they've been on the verge of folding. In fact, before Trevor came, throughout the early 2010s, definitely there was meetings where should we fold the band? It was good. But they've always had a core of players, usually 4 for some reason, that have refused to let it go, and it's never been a quick fix. They've got together, they've taken a deep breath, and they've recreated the band from within. They've never been able to buy players or, buy a band and just use money to get it back on its feet. It's always been done by training players and working hard and starting at the very bottom again.
And we're into the 3rd century of Besses.
Yeah, we are. Today has been a great day for me in that I was downstairs before, and to see people and to hear the chatter and feel the warmth within the rooms and actually something being done instead of it just being a cold brick building was fantastic for me. Especially because there was butties there as well, because I love a butty.
Well, you're clearly enjoying your playing again.
Yeah, I am.
And I think that love for the band, it's not just you. You can tell it in here. There's some real history.
Well, if you look round the stand, you've got our principal cornet, fantastic lad. His father, Tim Galloway, he played in the 1982 Besses British Open winning band under Roy Newsom. His father's father, another Tim Galloway, or Adam's grandfather, he played in the 1959 British Open winning band. And also you've got, if you look around the band room, when I say that they build from within again, there's people that have come back to start supporting the band. Gordon on third cornet, I think he's not played for 20 years or so. His great grandfather was a stalwart of Besses, played from 1880 to 1920. He toured the world with Besses on 3 world tours, a tour to Canada. He won 3 British Opens and in 1892, 1894 and 1920. He won the British Nationals in 1903. That's his great-grandfather, and that's Gordon. He's sat on the stand. And as I say, there's other players that are coming back. They're helping stabilising the band, getting a good sound. And, I'm sure including myself, we'll give over to the likes of Adam as and when necessary as the band goes forward.
It's been a pleasure to talk to you today, Steve.
Okay.
To get a little insight, a big insight, I think, into the history of the band. I think what you're doing is great, looking after the archives.
You're looking a bit pale. You might have some of that Bessiitis. So.
I might. Yeah. I'm looking forward to this book.
Yeah. Oh, God, right. Yeah.
Well, it'll be published one day, I'm sure, but, well done on what you're doing.
Okay, thank you.
Really nice to talk to you.
All right, cheers.